Black Myth Wukong actually exists. It's not a dream, it's finally a reality. And we actually got a release date August 20th, 2024. This is by far my most anticipated game of 2024 because we've been seeing this game for so long, to the point I didn't think we'd ever actually see it come out. It felt like a literal myth. But no, it's actually coming, and I'm genuinely surprised, as this could be one of the greatest games to ever exist if it actually lives up to the hype. This game is so ambitious and could literally change the gaming industry forever if it actually delivers. Based on what we've seen and heard over the years, this is going to be a unique experience, a Souls-like game based off the story Journey to the West, one of the most popular stories in China and Japan and the East in general. Even if you're not familiar with the story itself, you've definitely heard about it because so many stories, games, anime, shows have been inspired by this one little tale. Shows like Dragon Ball Z and One Piece. If this game hits all expectations, we're about to witness some of the most spectacular boss battles of all time. This is gonna transcend history and talked about for the ages, as we are gonna be battling monsters and gods and even beings like Buddha himself, who might be the final boss maybe if the game is exactly like the story. Obviously they're gonna go for their own twist. If I remember correctly, there are two monkeys and we're not exactly sure the identity of one of them. Based off of their ambitions and the gameplay we've seen thus far, we're in for a wild ride. These guys plan on giving us, I believe, about 72 transformations. Like, excuse me? That's some real nut shit. Like, you better strap in and clench your butt cheeks. Boys, we're going in on a crazy ride. Now, although the game looks phenomenal, I love the character designs, the art style, the bosses. The gameplay looks pretty great. Visually, it looks like one of the best games we've ever seen. I do have a little doubts, I'm not gonna lie. For one, so far the gameplay looks incredible and a little too ambitious, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little skeptical about this game. I'm not sure everything they promised might actually happen, but if it does, whoa, I am totally ready. From the gameplay we've seen thus far, it looks pretty incredible, but I'm not gonna lie, the way enemies react to hits kind of throws me off a little, and I hope they made it a bit better, where it kind of feels like you're hitting a wall and the enemies don't necessarily react. I'm hoping for a more Bloodborne Dark Souls approach where every hit has weight to it and it feels like I'm actually making progress and significant damage. That's my one complaint so far. I feel like some of the enemies and bosses have super armor, and I'm hoping that isn't the case and they can fix that, because I think that annoy a lot of people really quickly. But I'm so excited for this game. I love the atmosphere, the game design, and all the cool creative ideas they implemented in this game that I would like to actually see implemented in other video games, which is why I really hope this game could live up to expectations and hype, because the Chinese developers are often overlooked, but honestly they're some of the best in the entire game, and I'm glad they're finally getting a chance to actually showcase what they're capable of, and this game is honestly looking phenomenal. I'm just really glad we're getting something new, something creative, something risky, something fresh, something we don't really necessarily get in modern games anymore, because a lot of companies like to take it safe and really bank on franchises they know that'll hit. So to get something completely different, that it's extremely unique, and we've never seen a game like this. The fact that we get 72 different and unique transformations is mind-blowing. From weapons to different insects and animals, like each of these transformations definitely give us a new way to experience the game. And that's honestly what I'm worried about. The fact that there's 72 different transformations, are we actually going to be using all 72? Are some of the abilities going to overlap with one another? Or am I just going to end up sticking with only 3 or 5 and then playing with that the entire game? Will all of them even work as intended? These are the problems that I fear, because some people could come into this game thinking this is just way too much for them to handle and kind of turn them off from the game entirely. But from what they've said, it sounds it's very detailed, very carefully implemented. We haven't seen that many transformations, and because it's a new company or one that we're not familiar with, I can't really put my full trust onto them despite everything we've seen thus far, because Although it looks great, how many times have we seen a game that looks phenomenal and then it releases and it's the exact opposite and you're like, how did they even release this? And I'm praying it's not one of those cases. The bosses that we've seen thus far seem pretty dope. The way different abilities and transformations affect the boss battle is very unique, and I think it's going to make each boss battle very different and extremely fun. And it appears we have a variety of enemies, which is always a good thing, because again, when you fight the same enemy over and over again, no matter how many abilities you have, no matter how powerful you are, it will get boring very fast. And as for the environment, as far as I can tell, they never mentioned if this game is open world. That'd be really crazy if it is. At best, I think it might be like a God of War type style, like large zones, but not necessarily an open world game. And it could be even mission based, which wouldn't be too surprising, like a Neo type game, but if anything, it's probably going to play like Dark Souls, interconnected levels and zones, locations all linked together. But the story looks pretty interesting so far. Again, it's just an adaptation of the Journey to the West story, which features so many mythological legendary monsters and gods. So do expect some larger than life boss battles and some of the most memorable fights we've ever seen in gaming history. Bosses that'll be etched into your brain forever. Every time you think of that game, you'll be like, yo, that boss right there was insane, and I'm really hoping they can deliver on that aspect. This game has been years in the making and it's finally coming. This game, if it lives up to the hype and expectations, could be a masterpiece. This has the potential to be legendary, a game that could change everything forever. But that's about it for the video. I really hope this game lives up to the expectations and the hype. I believe they want to make this into a franchise, not necessarily about Wukong, but like tackling different myths. So I think that'd be really cool for them to make games based off different legends and mythologies. But let me know down below what you guys think. Are you hyped for this game? What do you expect? What other myths and legends would you like for them to tackle next? I would love to know. Otherwise, hope you guys have a good day and a good night. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.